Okay, so for the rest of this week, we're going to really focus on problem-solving questions. So we're going to look at some problems and we're going to discuss them, and then you're going to actually not solve the problem, but tell me what you would do to solve the problem. Okay, so you're going to have to put some thought into your answers. They're all going to be open-ended, basically telling me what you think or how you would go about solving the problem. Okay, so when we look at this first one, okay, it says Paula wants to buy 3 shirts and 2 belts. The shirts cost $16.89 each, and the belts cost $8.97 each, and Paula has $45. So which of these amounts is the best estimate of how much money Paula needs in order to buy the shirts and belts? Okay, well, if you notice, there's no answer choices. Okay, there's going to be no answer choices because I'm not looking for the answer. Okay, I don't want the answer to your question. I just want to know, what are you going to do to solve it? Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to look at the information. Okay, so that's 3 shirts, 2 belts. Okay, the shirts cost $16.89 each. So here we go. The belts cost $8.97 each. And then Paula has $45. Okay, so here's what we know. We know that she has $45. We know that she wants to buy 3 shirts and 2 belts. Okay, so my question for you for this question is, what steps are you going to take? Tell me everything that you're going to do. So I want you to explain to me. Okay, so on this first one, I'm gonna tell you the answer. This is what you should be doing. Okay, so I know that she wants to buy 3 shirts for $16.89. So you would tell me that she's going to multiply 16.89 times 3. Then she's going to multiply 8.97 times 2. Then you would tell me that she is going to add those 2 numbers together. Okay, now it says estimate, so that means you would actually be saying 17 times 3 and 9 times 2, right? It says, which of these amounts is the best estimate of how much more money Paula needs in order to buy the shirts? So your answer, 17 times 3, 9 times 2, add those 2 numbers together and subtract 45 from your answer. That's how you would solve it. I don't want to know what the answer is going to be. I want to know how would you solve it. So you could put something like this. You would say in your text box, you'd put 17 times 3 equals question mark, 9 times 2 equals question mark, and then you would tell me, add the numbers together and subtract 45. Or you could even solve 17 times 3 equals this, 9 times 2 equals this, add this number plus this number together, and subtract it from 45. I just don't want to see a final total. I don't want to see a final answer. Right now, I just want to see that you understand how to attack the problem. Okay? All right, so let's look at the next one. Okay, it says a large bar of soap is 3 9/10 inches long. A small bar of soap is 2 3/8 inches long. What is the best estimate of the difference in the length between the 2 bars of soap? Okay, so we need to know that we're going to estimate 3 9/10 and 2 3/8. Okay, so when we think about benchmark fractions, 2 3/8, 3 is almost close to 4, right? And 4 would be half of 8. So 3 9/10. 9/10, that's close to 1 whole, so that would be 4. And we'd estimate 2 3/8 to be 2 1/2. And then we're looking for the difference, so you would tell me that you're going to subtract right? So your answer, you would write estimate 3 9/10 to be 4, 2 3/8 to be 2 1/2, and then subtract. That's all you would put, okay? Because I'm not looking for an answer today. I'm just looking for how you would solve it. Tomorrow, you're going to have to solve it, okay? So it is in best practice to write this down on a piece of scratch paper and keep up with it so that you know what to put for your answers for tomorrow when I come back and I ask you for the answers to each one of these questions. Okay? All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, Mr. Marquez had 123 eggs in a refrigerator in his restaurant. He put 32 more cartons of eggs in the refrigerator. Each carton contained 18 eggs. Which of these is the best estimate of the number of eggs Mr. Marquez now has in his refrigerator? All right, so here's what we know. He had 123 eggs. Okay. He put 32 more cartons of eggs in the refrigerator. If he's putting that in, he's going to add, right, 32 more cartons. Okay, but then it says each carton contained 18 eggs. So which of these is the best estimate of the number of eggs Mr. Marcus now has in his refrigerator? Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we have to figure out this. It says he put 32 more. He has 123. He put 32 more cartons, but each carton has 18 eggs. So I need you to tell me, how are you going to find out first how many eggs this is, and then how are you going to find out what his total is? Okay, I don't want the answer. I just want to know what you're going to do to solve the problem. Okay, so to solve it, you would have said 32 cartons times 18 eggs in each carton equals blank, right? Plus the 123 that he had. But it said about, so that means we're going to estimate 32 to be 30. We're going to estimate 18 to be 20. So you're going to say 30 times 20 equals this number, plus the 123 that he had, we're going to estimate to be 120. So 30 times 20 is this, plus 120, and that will give us our answer. Okay? So that's how you should have worked it. Okay? George bought 3 peppers for a cost of 40 cents each. The model represents this situation. Okay, so I want you to write me the equation. What would the equation look like? Okay, we'll solve it later. I just want to know, what would the equation look like? 3 peppers, and they cost 40 cents each. Okay, that's 3 whole peppers times 40 cents each. So it would have been 3 times 0.40 equals P for peppers, or C for cost, or whatever you wanted to put. But this would be your equation. 3 times 40 cents. Because this is 10, 20, 30, 40. You could have even said 3 times 4 tenths. Okay? Because these are tens. That's 4 tens, 4 tens, 4 tens. So 4 tenths 3 times equals the cost of the peppers. Okay? Okay, on this one, really, you're just gonna have to give me the answer on it. It says Maricela used this model to represent 1 whole. So this is 1 whole. Which model represents 1 8/10 times 4? So think about 1 8/10 times 4. Would it be F, G, H, or J? Okay, so 1 8/10 times 4. That means I'm looking for a model that is 1 8/10 4 times. So this is 1 8/10 and a 4 hundredths. Okay, that's, yeah. This is 4/10, and then there's a 1/10 and an 8/100 there. Okay, this one is 1 8/10 broken into 4 pieces, 4 equal pieces. So that would be a division problem. But this is 1 8/10 4 different times, because each one of these is one whole, right? That's what it told us. This represents a whole. So if this is a whole, then that means these are tens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8/10. 1 8/10, 1 8/10, 1 8/10, 1 8/10. 1 8/10 4 times. That's a multiplication problem. Okay. Okay. The hundredths model in this figure is shaded to represent the multiplying of 2 numbers. Okay. We're going to look for the answer later, but I want you to tell me what 2 numbers are being multiplied here. What's the multiplication problem that you see in this sentence? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 tens, so decimal 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tenths. So that is our problem. That's all you had to put. 4 tenths times 8 tenths. That is your problem that you're trying to solve. Okay. All right. The next one says Dion ran 3 7/75 kilometers each day to prepare for a race. What was the number of kilometers that Dion ran during 28 days? All right. So I want you to look at this and I want you to tell me what's the information that's important, what do you know, and what are we going to do to solve this problem? So explain to me how you would solve this problem. Okay, so Dion ran 375 kilometers each day. So each is important. What was the number of kilometers that he ran during 28 days? So you should have said 3 7/75 times 28 is how you're going to solve that problem. That's it. That's all you had to put. Okay. Mr. Nolan paid $36.95 for each adult shirt and $23.95 for each youth shirt he bought. Mr. Nolan bought 2 adult shirts and 5 youth shirts. All right, so we see that he paid $36.95 for the adult shirts and $23.95 for the youth shirts. 2 adults is what he purchased and 5 youth shirts. So it says, how much did he spend on these shirts? All right, so I want you to write. I want you to tell me, what would you do to solve this problem? How would you solve it? Okay, you should have said $36.95 is for the adult shirt, and he purchased 2, so $36.95 times 2. And then you should have said $23.95 times 5, because he bought 5 youth shirts. And then you're going to take those 2 answers and you're going to add them. It doesn't matter how you wrote it. You could have written it all in words. You could have said $36.95 times 2, and then $23.95 times 5, and then add your 2 answers together. Okay, or the product of both answers together, however you want to put it. Okay, but that's how you would solve this problem. Okay, an electronic book has a file size of 2 4/10 megabytes. What is the file size in megabytes of 16 of these electronic books? Okay, so what do we know? We know that each book has 2 4/10 megabytes of storage. What is the file size in megabytes of 16 books or electronic books? So tell me what you would do to solve this problem. Okay, so for this one, you would have just said 2 4/10 times 16. Okay, 2 4/10 times 16. That's all you have to do to solve the problem. Okay, we're going to solve it tomorrow. Okay, 1 bucket of gravel has a mass of 7 5/100 kilograms. What is the mass of 20 buckets of gravel in kilograms? Okay, so we know if 1 bucket is 7 5/100 kilograms, okay, that means every bucket's going to probably be 7 5/100 kilograms. So what would be the mass of 20 buckets? So tell me what you would do to solve this problem. You could have said multiply 7 5/100 by 20. Or you could have just simply put 7.05 times 20. Okay, either way, as long as I see that you understand that you're just going to multiply 7.05 times 20 to get the total mass. All right. Last week, Mrs. Foss worked 6 1/10 times as many hours as Mr. Sutton. Mr. Sutton worked 5 4/10 hours. How many hours did Mrs. Foss work? All right. So we know that Miss Foss worked 6 1/10 times as many hours as Mr. Sutton. Mr. Sutton worked 5 4/10 hours. What are you going to do to solve this problem? How will you work this one out? Okay, so if I know Mr. Sutton worked 5 4/10 hours and Miss Foss worked 6 1/10 times as many hours, we're just going to multiply by 6 1/10. 5 4/10 times 6 1/10. Okay? Nicole pays $45.75 every month for flute lessons. How much does Nicole pay for flute lessons for 4 months? Okay, how are you going to solve this problem? What is Nicole going to pay for 4 months? Okay, she pays $45.75 every month for flute lessons. How much will she pay for flute lessons for 4 months? All you're going to do is multiply it by 4. $45.75 times 4. Mr. Roosevelt has 48 nails that each weigh 1 35/100 ounces. What is the weight of the nails in ounces? So what are you going to do to solve this problem? Okay, he has 48 nails. Okay, that each weigh 1 35/100 ounces. What's the weight of the nails in ounces? So you're going to say 1 35/100 times 48. That's how you're going to solve it. Okay, Mia's dog weighs 32 6/10 pounds. Letty's dog weighs 3 8/10 times as much as Mia's dog. What does Letty's dog weigh in pounds? Okay, how are you going to solve this problem? Okay, if Mia's dog weighs 32 6/10 pounds, Letty's dog weighs 3 8/10 times as much. There's your keyword, times. So times 3 8/10. Okay, because it said 3 8/10 times as much. That's your keyword. Okay, number 31. The hundredths model is shaded to represent a division problem. Which equation is represented by the model? So on this one, you're going to tell me what the division problem is. How would you write a division problem for this question? Okay, so the division problem would look like this. There's 72 hundredths shaded, and it's going to be divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 groups. So 72 hundredths divided by 9, and you'll give me the answer tomorrow. So that's how you would solve it. Your total is 72 shaded, 72 out of 100, and you've got 9 separate groups. Okay? All right. Mark has $5.25 in quarters. He spent all of his money on 3 sports drinks. He spent the same amount for each sports drink. Which equation can be used to find the amount of money Mark spent for each sports drink? So what would your equation look like? How would you solve this? What would you do to solve this problem? Okay, so I know that Mark has $5.25, and he bought 3 sports drinks, and he paid the same amount. So $5.25 divided by 3 would be your problem. That's how you would solve the problem. Okay, and that's all you need for today. Okay, this one says the model is shaded to represent the number 2 and 20 hundredths. So 1, 2, and 10, 20. 1, 2, and 20 hundredths. Okay, this model can also be used to represent an equation using the number 2 and 20 hundredths. What kind of equation is being made for 2 and 20 hundredths? What kind of equation would you write for that? Okay, I just want you to tell me what equation would you do. Would you add, subtract, multiply, or divide? That's all the answer I want. All I want to see is add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Okay, it should have been divide. Okay, because you had a total of 2 and 20 hundredths. And each one of these circles represents it being broken down into pieces. Okay, so it was broken down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces. Okay, and tomorrow we'll come up with an answer. All right. This one says the length of a piece of yarn is 19 2/10 units. Jess cut the piece of yarn into 4 smaller pieces that were all the same length. Which expression represents the length of each smaller piece of yarn? Okay, I want you to tell me what you're doing. What operation are you going to do on this? Okay, your operation should have been division. Okay, now I want you to tell me a division problem. I want you to write it and put it into a division problem for me. Okay, you should have said 19.2, and then I know you don't know how to make the division sign, so you could have done this by 4, or you could have said 19 2/10 divided by, divided D by 4. Either way, I would accept both because you're taking the 19 2/10 and you're cutting it into 4 pieces. Okay, so this is a division or fraction bar, which means divide. So 19 2/10 divided by 4, or 19 2/10 divided by 4. You could have used words. All right, Mr. Adams drove his delivery truck 151 2/10 miles during 24 days. He drove the same number of miles each day. How many miles did Mr. Adams drive each day? All right, I want you to tell me what operation are you going to do? And then what numbers are you going to use? So I want you to tell me the operation, and then I want you to write me the equation that you would use. Okay? Okay, so it's a division problem. And your equation should have said 151 2/10 divided by 24. Okay, he drove his truck 151 2/10 miles during 24 days. And if he drove the same amount each day, we're going to divide by 24. It'll tell us how many miles he drove each day. Okay, the weight of sand in a large bag is 63 4/10 pounds. The sand in the bag is divided equally into 20 small bags. All right, so it already told us it's a division problem. So write me a division problem. Write me the sentence. Okay, you should have said 63 4/10 divided by 20. Okay, so it's 63 4/10 pounds of sand, and it's going to be divided equally into 20 small bags. Okay, Mrs. Chen paid a total of $88.20 for 15 staplers. She paid the same amount for each stapler. What amount did Mrs. Chen pay for each stapler? So what they want to know, how much did each stapler cost? She paid a total of $88.20, and she bought 15. So tell me what operation you're going to do and what would the equation look like. Okay, the operation is going to be division. And the equation would be $88.20 divided by 15. Okay. All right, last one. Amber saved a total of $3.20 over 5 weeks. She saved the same amount of money each week. How much did Amber save each week? All right, so what are we going to do? We know that she saved a total of $3.20 in 5 weeks. She saved the same amount of money each week. So how much did Amber save each week? It's not going to be a lot, okay, because she only saved a total of $3.20. So make sure you're looking at the problem itself. Okay, if she only saved $3.20 over 5 weeks, that's going to be a very small amount. So I want you to tell me what you're going to do, what's your operation, add, subtract, multiply, or divide, and then show me what your equation will be. Okay, again, this one is going to be division. Okay, she saved $3.20 total, and then they want to know how much did she save each week. So we're going to divide it by 5. Okay, all right, so all you did today was come up with the solutions of how you're going to solve. Tomorrow you're going to actually give me the answers. So I hope that you wrote all the work down. Okay, if you need to go back through the video and watch it again, you can watch the video again to get the answers, or to get the work so you know what to do. Tomorrow I will submit another Ed Puzzle video for you to put your answers into. Okay, that's all you're going to do is put your answers in there. Okay, you're going to tell me how much each thing costs. And still, I'm not going to give you answer choices. It's going to be your work. Okay? All right. If you have any questions, send me a message.